We have another big signing in the National Hockey League. John Carlson, at the ripe old hour of 8:13 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, has signed with the Tampa Bay Lightning. 2 years, $17 million total, an $8.5 million AAV, maybe about $1 million-ish over the value that he should have gotten according to Off the Rush and their model, but the Tampa Bay Lightning have loaded up. The Carolina Hurricanes lose out on a guy that they traded the rights to get. Unfortunately, rights don't mean you get the signing done. You still have to get the signing done, and that's not what the Hurricanes did. Now, speaking about Tampa Bay, it was already reported that one defenseman, Zach Werenski, was really interested in heading over to the Lightning. Either Toronto or Tampa Bay, those were the two teams that were talked about, with Tampa seeming to be the favorite. Now, we also have some news with Zach Werenski, but not on the trade or whatever front. It's actually on the sticking around in Columbus front. We have two statements that were posted earlier this afternoon by Zach Werenski and by GM Don Waddell. We'll dive into these later in the video, but first we gotta talk about John Carlson. What do you say, man? This is a top guy coming over to Tampa Bay to man that power play in the absence of both Victor Hedman and Darren Raddysh. The AAV, $8.5 million a year, is the same AAV that Raddysh is getting in Toronto. Raddysh is 30, John Carlson is 36, but at the same time, Carlson has been a much better defenseman for much longer than Darren Raddysh has been. 70 points in 73 games for Raddysh. Obviously, we understand he was great. John Carlson hasn't had 70 points since 2022, but when you consider the body of work he has had recently, this has a much longer track record of offensive success compared to Raddysh. And essentially, when your top power play has Nikita Kucherov and Jake Gensel doing all the work, as long as your top defenseman is worthwhile, as long as he's fine, as long as he can shoot, as long as he can make the right play, he'll be okay. John Carlson, over under 70 points this upcoming year? I'd probably take the over. This previous season, Carlson had 60 points in, 55 plus 20, 75 minus 4, 71 games played. So not a bad get at all. Carlson, going back east, this is where he wanted to be. He did not want to go over to the west and stick around in Anaheim. The Ducks, they made some big changes on their blue line as well. All those California teams, lots of big moves, especially San Jose. They've totally dropped the ball when it comes to their decor, but reactions are where they're supposed to be. I think a lot of people are acknowledging the competitive pedigree that John Carlson will push into the Tampa Bay Lightning and their lineup. You can debate whether or not they're going to go from first-round exits to first-round exits. Does John Carlson really move the needle that much to allow Tampa Bay to be that much better of a team? If he is essentially a one-to-one Darren Raddysh replacement, then maybe you could say not really. Especially when you think about some of the other moves that Tampa has made today. They acquired Dennis Hildeby, they traded away Nick Paul, they did some other stuff. Really interesting signing here. It's just the fact that it came so late into the night. That's quite intriguing in my opinion. Now, shifting gears from one actual Tampa Bay Lightning defenseman to a supposed to have been Tampa Bay Lightning defenseman, let's follow up on the Zach Werenski conversation, because last night we made a video talking about how Zach Werenski straight up rejected a trade over to the Dallas Stars, and this was a really big deal. He's like, wait a minute, what? You wanted to go to a contender. You wanted to go to a winner. You and all your other American buddies from the American Olympic team are all fed up with your teams because they're not winning. Between Brady Tkachuk, Quinn Hughes, Dylan Larkin, Werenski, maybe Connor Hellebuck, who really knows, all these guys are on teams that are not great. They want it out. They're impatient. They just won the gold medal. Now Zach Werenski has a chance to go to the Dallas Stars, and he said no? Reports further came out talking about how Werenski prefers Tampa Bay and or Toronto. And then we also made the video talking about how Patrick Laine was right, and Blue Jackets fans were clowning on Zach Werenski because reports came out saying that him and his party were pissed off that all of this trade stuff was leaking out into the media. And because he was pissed off, his end result was, man, I'm so mad, I'm going to stay in Columbus now. I am going to reject all the trades that come my way because I have trade protection. Very bizarre way to handle your emotions in that situation, right? But we now have a actual piece of evidence as to what's going on. The Columbus Blue Jackets president of hockey ops and GM Don Waddell, as well as all-star defenseman Zach Werenski, both issued the following statements today. Take a look at what Don Waddell's statement reads. Earlier this spring, Zach and I met and talked about his future with the Blue Jackets beyond his current contract, which, by the way, goes until the end of 2028, making $9.5 million a year. He's got 2 seasons left, he's not eligible to sign an extension until next year, and because it was worded out that he didn't want to re-sign in Columbus, that's why all this trade stuff started coming about. Waddell says that Werenski indicated he wasn't sure what the future would hold with regards to staying with the club, or possibly moving on. During those discussions, we talked about me exploring opportunities to move him now, and we all agreed if there was a deal to be made, that I would bring it to him. We found something that would work for the club, and took it to Zach. After some time and discussions with his family, Werenski informed us that he did not want to leave Columbus. He has invested a great deal in this organization, and after coming close and falling short in the past 2 years, his desire is to win here and get this team back into the playoffs. The past 2 seasons have been very challenging ones, but also ones of growth for our team. Our goals, from ownership on down, and Zach's goals are the same. To win now, return to the playoffs, and win a Stanley Cup. Our city and fans deserve nothing less, and we are all on the same page working towards that end. Werenski has been a very important part of this organization and our community for a long time, and we could not be happier that he will continue to be moving forward. Now for Werenski's statement. Don and I have had a very open and honest dialogue since the season ended. Ideally, this wouldn't have become such a public thing. But that is the world we live in now, and everything got blown out of proportion, in my opinion. I want to win, and I want to do that in Columbus. As I've thought about things and discussed everything with my wife and family, we want to be in Columbus. It has been my home for the past 10 years, and I have always been proud to be a Blue Jacket. We have the best fans in the NHL. I love my teammates and coaches, and I am looking forward to doing everything I can to get us back in the playoffs to compete for a Stanley Cup. Don and I are completely aligned on that, and are excited about what's to come with our team. Now, nowhere in this statement does Zach Werenski say, I'm actually going to stay in Columbus forever. I'm going to sign another contract next year because I'm allowed to do that and I don't want to leave. He doesn't say anything of that nature, which I guess you can say that's probably for his protection, but still, Zach Werenski himself speaking out through the Blue Jackets Twitter account, calming the waters, you can say. Now, there are a number of other things that you could talk about too. Show the original statement you guys put out. You couldn't bother to proofread it beforehand. Yeah, that's because the first statement that Zach Werenski had actually misspelled his name. The Blue Jackets had to remove the post. So, yeah. This guy really wanted to go to a real organization, and then he backed off. So they agreed to talk about a deal being made to bring it to Zach, but then suddenly when there's a deal, nah, I'd rather stay. Hey, that is quite the way to look at it, eh? Let's look at what some Blue Jackets fans have to say on the subreddit here. Top reply to the statement, the Blue Jackets have acquired a Norris Trophy winning defenseman. Another reply says, I want to point out the weatherman from Carolina ended up having the inside scoop. And another reply says, extend Marchenko before anyone says anything else. Marchenko, please, bring him back. Is it possible that the media blew this way out of proportion? Pretty sure the media doesn't want Columbus to have nice things and they tried to ruin it. What I don't buy is the I wish it would have stayed private. Stuff like this only goes public if the agent purposely shares it with an insider, so what moved his agent to blabber? I swear they're trying to gaslight us. So, yeah. Good on Zach for issuing a statement that is clearly his own words. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. John Carlson is a Lightning, and the should-have-been, could-have-been Lightning, Zach Werenski, is staying put in Columbus for this season, and I'm going to assume next season as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.